10th, center fielder number 1, Tyler Escrataro. Batting third, the extra hitter number 2, Jackson Inman. Batting fourth, the left fielder number 7, Sean Mendes. Batting fifth, first baseman number 21, Justin Espinal. Batting sixth, the catcher number 5, Cooper Fesh. Batting seventh, the designated hitter number 27, James Bolton. Batting eighth, shortstop number 24, Brian Fry. Batting ninth, the third baseman number 46, Omar Carreras. And batting 10th, second baseman number 9, Caleb Walker. The starting pitcher for Batavia is number 25, Gavin Chandler. The Muckdogs are coached by Skip Martinez, assisted by Grant Bickham, Khalid Cox, and Julian Pichardo. Now let's meet the starting lineup for your Auburn Doubledays. Leading off, second baseman from Niagara University, number 21, Tyler Didbakwa. Batting second, the right fielder from Denison University, number 34, Bobby Hardy. Batting third, the extra hitter from Villanova University, number 5, Mark Gianlucci. Batting fourth, the catcher from the University of Delaware, number 19, Anthony Cesare. Batting fifth, left fielder from Eastern Connecticut State, number 35, Brendan Smith. Batting sixth, the shortstop from Lemoyne College, number 36, Adam Sullivan. Batting seventh, the center fielder from Mount St. Mary's University, number 1, Sam Meyer. Batting eighth, first baseman from Denison University, number 28, Max Fishbein. Batting ninth, the designated hitter from Binghamton University, number 9, Caden Albright. And batting 10th, the third baseman from Siena College, number 10, Josh Thompson. Starting pitcher for the Doubledays from Siena College, number 40, Ryan Blundari. The next bad boys are number 2, Connor Barton, and number 26, Carter Coolis. The Doubledays are coached by Matthew Petrosi, assisted by Ryan Fletcher.
You didn't clap for the Fat Boys?
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask all who are able to please stand and remove your caps for our national anthem. The anthem will be performed by Miss Kira Dominic.
It's like a school.
Rising up, rise. But then rising came out next time.
Right side.
Again, Kira's out the third base coaching box with some members of the Southern Cuba Little League. And they got a message for us.
Back here at Falcon Park, welcome everybody for another matchup between the Auburn Doubledays and the Batavia Muckdogs here in a perfect game collegiate baseball league matchup. Ryan Sir on the call alongside Luke Backman, and we're ready for another great day of Doubledays baseball.
I'm excited to be back here at Falcon Park as the Doubledays take on the Batavia Muckdogs, and which should be a fun game. Nice evening, cool evening here, so gonna be a good day at the ballpark, I think.
Luke, you know, the Doubledays fighting here for the top of the Western Conference standings here in the PGCBL right now. Just a game and a half out of first place, but that team in first, Batavia, so the Doubledays have a chance to really make their presence felt this one. What's going to be the key to the game for the Doubledays here?
I think for the Doubledays is the fact that they need to put the ball in play. I say that because last night in a 3-1 loss to Jamestown, they only had 3 hits, and even worse, they struck out 14 times. So, you know, more than half of their outs in the entire ball game, they didn't even get the ball in play. So I think if you put the ball in play and put pressure on not only Batavia's defense, but any team around this league, that can help lead to success. We've seen it, Doubledays hitters putting the ball in play and causing, you know, maybe tough plays or errors from a defense. So you can't strike out 14 times in a ball game and expect to win.
That's certainly true, but the Doubledays are going to have their work cut out for them on the defensive side as well, going against a Batavia squad that had 8 All-Stars for the Midseason All-Star Awards, which was tied for the most in all of the PGCBL. 5 of those were position players, so the Doubledays are going to have to overcome that. Auburn with 2 of their own. We'll delve into that a bit more later on in the broadcast. But kicking things off for Batavia, they have Braden Horton leading things off, the right fielder out of Coastal Carolina, as the first pitch comes in, and that's right down the middle for strike 1.
Horton batting an even 300 this season. 18 hits, 6 doubles, 3 triples in that leadoff position.
That pitch outside, and yeah, Horton obviously a very good player. Any player who starts off their career at the University of Oklahoma and then has his pick of schools, chooses to go to Coastal Carolina, obviously a very talented player as he swings and misses on that pitch. From starting pitcher Ryan Lundari of the Doubledays, Lundari going here for his 5th appearance of the season, 3rd game started on the campaign, a 4.5 ERA. He's worked his way up through the rotation of pitchers as that pitch swung on, hit into center field, and it'll drop right in the glove of Sam Meyer for the first out of the inning.
Good start to this inning and ball game, but it doesn't get easier with this lineup. Seven players and hitters on this Muckdogs lineup, batting 300 or above, so they've proven they can get on base throughout the season.
And one of those guys right here, Tyler Castrataro, batting 325 on the campaign, an impressive 386 slugging with a 468 on-base percentage, so he knows how to get on base safely as he cracks the one, and he'll get on base right there into left center field, one that drops in front of Meyer for a quick first hit of the night. That will bring up the next batter for the Batavia Muckdogs, Jackson Inman, who's batting 338 on the campaign. Luke, you mentioned it. These Muckdogs batters just all seem to be batting ridiculous numbers.
Yeah, no surprise that, like you mentioned, 8 All-Stars and 5 position players. When you got 7 guys batting 300 or better, you can have the pick in the litter throughout this lineup. First pitch in there for strike number 1, and got to be careful behind the plate for the Cesare. Got to know Castrataro could be on the move, is tied with the lead this season for the Muckdogs with 8 steals.
As he's taking a fairly heady lead off of first, Inman doesn't go there, so that'll be ball 1 of the at-bat for a 1-1 count. Lundari's pitching at least started off the night pretty solid, gotten some pitches in there for looking strikes, got a swinging strike in the first at-bat against Horton. Seems like he's had his stuff so far. That pitch misses barely high.
For the Doubledays, I'd assume a lot of bullpen arms would be available. Last night, only 2 pitchers were used, the starter Hunter Lefkis, and then out of the bullpen was Griffin White. He was only used for 1 inning, as Lefkis went 7 innings, giving up only 2 runs, so phenomenal start from him. Just didn't get the offensive backing.
Swing and a miss there from Jackson Inman. Lindari out of Siena College. The connection between Lundari and DeCesare has been electric this season. And that's another swing and a miss. And the throw over to first, not going to get there in time, but a good attempt from DeCesare. DeCesare, probably the best defensive catcher on this Doubledays roster from what we've seen so far. And we've talked about how good this catching unit is, but DeCesare in particular has consistently gotten that spot behind home plate, even with fantastic catchers like Mark Gialusi and Troy Reeder also on the roster.
Yeah, great move right there from DeCesare. Little snap throw back to first to try and get Castrotero sleeping. For a second, it looked like they might have got him, but with the speed, Castrotero has just able to dive in there safely, but I like the attempt, no less.
That first pitch high and inside to Sean Mindas, and we talk about the impressive stats. Mindas maybe hasn't played the same amount of games as some of these other guys, but on the campaign, batting a ridiculous .451. He's not the most powerful hitter, but his ability to consistently get those base hits puts him in the cleanup spot, and that's another base hit for the Muckdogs right over the head of Tyler Vivacqua for the second hit of the game that Lundari has allowed.
Yeah, it never gets easier, and you talked about Mendas, only playing, this will be his 14th game, but that don't take anything away from the average, as he has the 3rd most hits on this team, with now that being his 24th hit of the season, and obviously playing a significantly less amount of games than the other 3 guys tied in front of him. So Mendas has certainly come and joined this team and found his way on base through hitting at the plate.
Mindas, as I mentioned, more of a contact hitter, not exactly one of your power guys, but Justin Espinel, who's up to bat right now, he's got some power behind his bat. One of the few players on this Batavia squad with a home run. Actually, I believe the only player on Batavia with a home run this season, as he cracks that one deep, fly ball into left field, and a great catch there from Brendan Smith to get the final out of the inning, get the Doubledays out of a jam. Lundari walks off the mound with some confidence, knowing that, it could have been a lot worse, but he got out of the inning with no runs given up, and a good start for the Doubledays against the top-seeded Batavia Muckdogs. We'll be back in the bottom of the first for more Auburn Doubledays baseball.
Special welcome to the players, coaches, and parents of the Southern Little League who are with us tonight. We're glad you're here.
Back here in the bottom of the first inning, and the Auburn Doubledays knotted 0-0 with Batavia in trying to get the first score of the night. Tyler Vivacqua kicking things off. He'll be followed up by Bobby Hardy and Mark Gialusi. Gialusi, someone who started off, joined the team fairly late in the season, and has instantly worked his way up to the 3-hole in the lineup. That first pitch way outside from Gavin Chandler, who is one of the best pitchers on this Batavia lineup. He's got a 1.96 ERA, was just named to the All-Star team for the mid-season awards. Chandler, someone that the Doubledays are definitely going to have to be worried about today.
Yeah, going to have to put up tough at-bats against Chandler, as opposing hitters are only batting .288 against him.
That pitch, that ball grounded past the third baseman, gets past Fry, and Vivacqua is going to go for 2 and doesn't get there in time. Vivacqua ruled out at second, and that will be a quick first out despite a great hit from Tyler Vivacqua.
Yeah, Vivacqua, you don't see that every day, as the throw actually beats out the speed of Vivacqua right there. Left fielder, nice play by Mindas, getting that ball in quickly, as again, Tyler Vivacqua, one of the speediest base runners for this Auburn Doubledays team, gets gunned out going to second. You can't even be mad that he goes to second, because 9 times out of 10 he makes it. That just being the 1 out of 10 he doesn't.
I agree with you there, Luke. It was a little bit greedy, but it was the right play by the book. It's something that, with Vivacqua's speed, you can expect him to do. There's a reason he's batting leadoff, and it's because of that speed. Another player whose speed is impressive, Bobby Hardy, another guy who, as I mentioned with Gialusi, worked his way up through the lineup. He was in that 9-10 slot for a lot of the season, but because of just the sheer volume of hits that he's been putting up, he had to have gotten moved up. As you see on the campaign, Hardy, his average dipped down to 194, but he's still batting pretty impressively. As that one fouled, and Espinal catches it foul down the right side for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, Espinal having a little trouble with that ball. Went, extremely high in the air, was able to come down. Wind not playing too much of a factor here tonight, as we're looking at the flag out there in left center, and kind of like it's just still, so wind shouldn't be playing too much of a factor for infielders or outfielders on a fly ball, but we can see if that changes throughout the rest of the night.
Now, we mentioned some of the all-stars in the PGCBL. One guy who, if he was here the entire season, probably would get that, is Mark Gialusi, batting .464 through his 9 games of work. He's 28 at-bats and 13 hits in those 28 at-bats, as the Villanova product swings and misses there for an 0-2 count.
Yeah, it's been a small sample size for Gialusi, but trust me, he has impressed in his time here. As Ryan mentioned, .464. He's a guy, he finds his way as the season progresses. He's going to be penciled in almost every single night because of what he produces at the plate.
As we see Chandler take a step off, that's Gialusi running back for it to Cesare on deck. As we mentioned, Gialusi is a catcher, but we see manager Matt Petrosi often opt to run the 2-catcher lineup with Gialusi as the extra hitter and de Cesare as the catcher out in the field. Fourth pitch comes in, cracked over the head of the second baseman Walker for another base hit for the Doubledays. The Doubledays right now matching Batavia in terms of hits, but obviously Vivacqua got thrown out at second. That'll be the first base runner of the game for the Doubledays.
Again, that's why I wasn't mad about Vivacqua going just quickly back to that, because you're going to have to score runs against Batavia here tonight. If you're able to get your leadoff guy on second, if he's there, he scores on that. But, hey, you can't live in the past. Either way, 2 hits are ready to start the game against an all-star in Chandler. You like how the offense is going right now for the Doubledays.
Luke, that's a great point. This Batavia squad is impressive with how quickly they're able to get runs in. Just 5th in the PGCBL in terms of total runs, but if you look at it on a basis of which teams they're playing against, this team is very difficult to stop when they're batting well. As that pitch comes in, cracked down the right side, barely foul. It's a 1-2 count.
De Cesare hitting an impressive .338 here, 22 hits, 6 doubles, 15 RBIs as well.
Cesare, known as more of a defensive player, but his bat certainly shows up to play nearly every game, as Gianluci takes a pretty conservative lead there over at first. That pitch inside, ball number 2. Chandler started off strong, giving up 2 base hits though, which is a good sign for the Doubledays. As you mentioned, Chandler, very difficult to get hits against, as that one cracked directly to Walker. Walker throws it over to Espinal for an easy 3rd out of the inning. That'll send the Doubledays into the 2nd with 2 hits but no runs scored. We'll be back here in the top of the 2nd inning.
So please support the team and give yourself a chance to win some serious cash. We will draw the winning ticket tonight at the end of the 7th inning.
Here wasn't great.
At Falcon Park here in the top of the 2nd inning, Doubledays knotted in a 0-0 ball game with Batavia. And Luke, we've seen some Doubledays get recognized in the PGCBL midseason awards.
Yeah, happy to say the Doubledays have 2 All-Stars and Brennan Heilman and Owen Burchard, 2 pitchers that completely deserve the opportunity, as they've been phenomenal this year for the Doubledays. And as starting pitchers, both of them have taken that anchor role in the lineup in their starting role. As you know, maybe the Doubledays lose a game or lose a couple of games. When they're on the mound, you feel confident going into that, hey, we're going to get 5, 6, maybe 7 innings from each of these guys respectively, and they're going to keep us in this ball game with a chance to win. Hey, that's what you want from a starter, and these 2 have proven they're 1A and 1B, and I'm happy to see that they've been named midseason All-Stars.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate for the Doubledays that Brennan Heilman moved on. He had to leave the team about halfway through the year. As we see, tends to happen just at this midseason point. The first guys tend to trickle out, but through his 31 innings pitched, which led the league this year, he also had a 32 strikeouts, which also led the league. Is that error there from the first baseman, and Max Fishbein gets another runner on base. But as we were mentioning, Brendan Heilman leaving the team leaves a gap, a vacancy for the Doubledays that they need to fill. Ryan Landari, who started off this game relatively strong, he could be one of those guys who steps into that role as the top 2 pitcher, or at least starting pitcher on this Doubledays squad.
100% Landari on the mound tonight, and then as I mentioned, Hunter Lefkis on the mound last night, as that one's going to be hit over to Vivacqua. That's going to go.
Throws it to Sullivan and over to Fishbein for a quick 4-6-3 double play.
Exactly what the doctor ordered right there for Landari, as an error. The defense allowed 1 to get on, but then the defense says we'll make up for our mistakes. Nice little double play for a quick 2 outs here in this inning. Good job by the middle infield.
As that will bring up now Brian Fry, the shortstop, as he goes for a bunt attempt, it looks like, and swings and misses. We'll get a strike there, 0-1 count.
But definitely Landari and then Lefkis on the mound last night, who went 7 innings. Opportunity to really fill that starting role from Brennan Heilman, as we were talking about.
Someone will need to do it for the Doubledays. We'll see who ends up taking over that spot. As I mentioned, now batting for the Muckdogs, Brian Fry, the shortstop, who's now playing at SUNY Brockport, fouls that one off. Started his career at the University of Toledo. But Fry, another pretty solid batter on this Batavia squad. Maybe not quite the same tier as those guys at the top of the lineup, but still batting a very solid 270. As that's a swing and a miss to end the inning. A great 1-2-3 inning for Ryan Lundari to take the Doubledays into the bottom of the second. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned for more Auburn Doubledays baseball.
No, you're good. No, I thought you were looking down, like filling up. That's why. Otherwise, yeah, I should have.
Did we?
No, that was
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to show our appreciation to the men and women who have given so much to serve our great country. We proudly request that any current or former members of our armed forces please stand to be recognized.
Advance tonight's game is sponsored in part by the Salvation Army. Where there's a need, there's the Salvation Army.
I want to take some time to thank some of our sponsors that help make Doubledays baseball a possibility. A&M Graphics, Auburn Orthopedic Associates, Aflac, Auburn Bagel, Auburn Public Theater and Cafe 108, Auburn Community Hospital, Auburn Fire Department, Auburn BID, Bosie's, Buffalo Wild Wings, Bully Hill Winery. We just want to thank them and many more we will highlight throughout the night's ball game for help making the Doubledays season here this summer a possibility here at Falcon Park.
Kicking things off for the Doubledays in the bottom of the second will be Brendan Smith, the left fielder, who we saw have a very impressive snag at the end of the top of the first. That seemed to become a trend for Brendan Smith, who's made some really impressive plays out there in the outfield, has worked his way into a spot as a lineup mainstay. Especially now with players like Tommy Kerwin leaving the squad, Smith is really to step up, and he's proven himself, especially in the field, as that pitch just barely outside 1-1 count.
Yeah, he seems to have locked down, really any outfield position he could play, but especially left field where we've seen him in multiple games. That one's in there for a strike. But as you mentioned, when that ball was sent out to left field, not a lot of left fielders could have tracked that one as easily as Smith was, so definitely turning into a mainstay on that defense.
That pitch high there, and I think Smith's size has a lot to do with that. He's a bigger guy, especially for an outfielder, has almost that Aaron Judge type physique where he's able to track down balls with his legs alone, just gaining that much ground in a short amount of time. As that pitch, again, checked by Smith. Lets that one go for a full count. Smith has worked his way back in, 3-2 count. As the payoff pitch comes in, that's way outside, not even close to the zone. Smith can toss his bat back and take first base. The Doubledays have really seemed to hold their own against Gavin Chandler so far in this game, which is a great sign. Chandler was always going to be a tough test for the Doubledays, and for them to even be getting base runners on this early is a fantastic sign for Auburn so far.
Yeah, definitely a lot of baseball left to be played, but if this is how you're starting for the Doubledays, you have to be ecstatic against Chandler.
That pitch in there for strike number 1 against Adam Sullivan, who's batting 6th today. Sullivan, we saw early on in the season it was every day Sullivan and Meyer in that maybe 2 or 3 or 3 or 4. And wow, a balk called on Gavin Chandler. A rare mistake from Gavin Chandler, and he did not agree with that call, but that will advance a runner to second. Smith keeps going, and Sullivan now with an 0-1 count. As we're going to see Skip Martinez have a quick chat with the home plate umpire.
I think they're saying that the lead foot didn't cross that line where it wasn't sure whether or not it was going home or going to first, especially with a lefty. You know, they have a lot of leeway because they don't have to move their foot so much going back to first. As a righty, has to turn their whole body there, but home plate umpire said Chandler wasn't able to differentiate whether he was going home or going to first, so that balk is called as that pitch is going to be fouled back quickly. Sullivan down now in the count 0-2. For the Doubledays now, this golden opportunity, runner in scoring position, nobody out. That one's going to be outside for ball number 1. This is what they were looking for with Tyler Vavaku in the first inning, him trying to go to second. Here you go, your leadoff guy on second. You know, nobody out in this inning, so exactly what the Doubledays are trying to set up here in the second.
And you have someone in Sullivan as he cracks that one just short of the left field, and it's a base hit, and we're going to see Smith stay at third, so runners will be on the corners, bringing up Sam Meyer. Big spot now for Meyer, who's came down a little bit recently in terms of his batting average, was at one point in the 300s, now batting just 241, but he has runners on the corners and a chance to give the Doubledays an early lead against the Muckdogs.
I gotta say, that's a great hold at third too from manager Matt Petrosi, as playing shallow in left field was Minda, so he was able to get to that ball quickly, and if you were gonna send Brendan Smith home, it was gonna be a bang play, so I think a smart hold, especially with nobody out in the inning.
Meyer goes after that first one, does not make contact for an 0-1 count.
Doubledays already in an inning plus of action here tonight, have already matched their hit total from last night. Only 3 hits against Jamestown. 3 hits already through 6 batters for the Doubledays here tonight.
Auburn continuing their trend of playing up at home on the season, a 12-2 record. Very impressive from Auburn at home. Now they just have to work on translating their success to their road contests.
100%, and games like this against Batavia are huge because of the fact if you can get home field advantage for potential postseason, I don't know, is that one close at first base? Chandler kind of squatted saying, I think he got him, or Chandler saying, I think I got him, excuse me. I think it was a close play at first base, but just able to get back in time with Sullivan.
That was a little too scary. If you're Sullivan here, you've got runners at the corners with no outs. You really just have to avoid giving them a free get-out-of-jail-free card, as that one fouled off. The fact that that was that close of a play, and from here up at the broadcast booth, obviously we don't have the clearest of angles, but it looked like that definitely could have been called an out if the umpire had a clear view. He was behind the play, so it was a bit tougher for him to see that, as that pitch outside.
But quickly before that pickoff attempt happened, Ryan, could you imagine playoff baseball here at Falcon Park? I mean,
electric.
Oh my goodness, we've seen the fans show out throughout this season. They would show out in bunches for that.
That one popped up, going to be into right field. 2 players converge on it, but only one goes. Horton makes the catch, and Smith does not make a play at home. So 1 out on the board, and still runners on the corners. That will bring up now Max Fishbein. Fishbein had an error in the top of the inning, trying to get some redemption here in the bottom.
Yeah, another good hold from Matt Petrosi, manager, at third base with Brandon Smith. Is that one not deep enough to bring Smith in via sac fly, keeping him at third? Smart move. Throw in from right field. As you mentioned, Horton was on a rope, a good throw, so I think good hold here. Now it's up to Fishbein.
That one cracked and just barely foul bounced off the opposing bullpen. And I agree with you, Luke, it was a good decision to have Smith stay at third there. Petrosi knew what he was doing. Smith has a lot of strengths. Base running really isn't one of them. Still 0 steals on the campaign. Not to say that he can't get it when needed, but in general, Smith isn't someone that you rely on for your speed. Probably a reason why we don't generally see him at the top of the order with the guys like Vavaku and Hardy.
I'd be interested to see whether or not they have Sullivan go here, trying to take away the inning-ending double play. There's another pickoff attempt though over there at first.
Sullivan might need to be a bit more conservative now that there have been 2 extremely close pickoff attempts over at first base.
And that might be the reason why we haven't seen him try and steal second, yes, because he has not timed up that move, whether it's home or to first base from Chandler.
That one cracked into the outfield again, right back to Horton, and Horton catches it. Again, Smith won't go, and that brings it from quarters with 0 outs to quarters with 2 outs.
And that looked like a complete carbon copy of the last at bat, exactly where Horton caught that last fly ball out there in right field. And again, not deep enough to send Smith from third base. So, you know, Doubledays were set up in prime time position with runners on the corners, nobody out, still trying to drive in that runner at third and get on the board first here.
Caden Albright up to bat, the Cortland product, going to Binghamton University next summer. At first pitch, right down Broadway for strike 1. And Luke, we talk about how good of a pitcher Chandler is, and while the Doubledays have had success so far, you can't afford to be leaving runners on base in such a golden opportunity. That one grounded right to Chandler, and an easy third out of the inning. Chandler gets out of some real danger there, and the Doubledays waste a golden opportunity. We'll be back here at the top of the third inning as Auburn looks to strike back.
Okay, so meet here behind the right field grandstand during the bottom of the third.
Well, I think it's like the first out, let fire.
The Doubledays had a real chance to get some runs across early against Batavia in the last inning. We're not able to convert. Now it's the top of the third here at Falcon Park, and that first pitch from Ryan Lundari in there for strike 1 against Omar Carreras.
Yeah, that's an inning that right now you're going to star the bottom of the second, swing and a miss right there from Carreras. For the Doubledays, you're going to star that bottom of the second in case this game is close at the end of the game. Golden opportunity, as we noted, first and third, nobody out, not able to drive in a run. Hope that doesn't come back to bite you later in the game.
Great pitch from Lundari, catches the edge of the strike zone for number 3 to take down Carreras looking.
Lundari has been on his A game here tonight, already his 3rd strikeout of the evening, having a strikeout in all 3 innings he's pitched in to start this game so far.
That'll now bring up the final batter in the order, Caleb Walker, the second baseman. Walker on the campaign batting just .254 is that pitch in there for strike number 1.
Walker showing bunt, but pulled back because of the off-speed pitch, was able to break in there on the outside part of the plate for a strike.
Another pitch, this time fouled off. And we talk about Lundari's successful season so far, and you look at the strikeout total, 6 through 6 innings. It's solid, it's nothing great, but so far 3 already, very impressive from Lundari as that one fouled off by Walker. And it's a good sign for how he's going to continue the rest of his performance.
100%. And I think the biggest stat I'm looking at for Lundari, only 1 hitter out of the 10 he's throwing a first pitch ball to.
That's an important stat. Getting ahead in the pitch count is something that we've seen both Heilman and Burchard do, the 2 Doubledays that were nominated to All-Star teams.
Yeah.
Something they're doing must have been working right.
100% helps the pitcher out.
0-2 count comes in there, and strike number 3. Another looking K for Lundari, his 2nd in a row to take down Caleb Walker.
Went back to the off-speed that breaks in on you on the outside part of the plate to just get Walker looking. It was the exact same pitch to start the at-bat against Walker. Finished him off with that 68 miles per hour pitch right there. Just phenomenal pitching right now from Lundari.
Order flips back around to the top with Braden Horton, stepping up to the plate, flew out in his first at-bat to Sam Meyer out there in center field. 1-0 count, cracked down over to the first base coach. Snags the ball there, nice play there from Batavia's coaching staff. You know, a lot of times it seems like the third base coach is the one getting all the glory for their impressive plays in the field, even though obviously they're not actually playing. The first base coach doesn't get enough love. As that one cracked over to the second baseman, Vivakwa gathers it, throws it to Fishbein. Quick 1-2-3 for Ryan Lundari yet again. We'll be back here in the bottom of the third for more Auburn Doubledays baseball. Stay tuned here on the Auburn Doubledays Sports Network.
Advanced Costas Barnes Road has served the Auburn community for 30 years with their delicious food and drinks. And their sports bar is a great place to watch your favorite team. They're located on Frank Henry right here in Auburn. And folks, we have a double birthday in the park tonight. Father and son birthday, both born on July 8th. Let's wish a happy birthday to Dad Gary and son Kevin. Lead off for the Doubledays, third baseman from Seattle.
Doubledays back here in the bottom of the third inning, and it's going to be Josh Thompson kicking things off. The third baseman batting 10th in the order, and we've seen a consistent theme from Matt Petrosi in his lineup so far this season. He uses that 10 slot as effectively another number 1 or number 2. That's why we saw guys like Bobby Hardy there. It's those quick, speedy base runners that get on base consistently. That pitch in there for strike number 1. It's something that is a smart heads-up play where we've seen now even MLB managers start using their 9 as more of a 1. Pitch misses outside there. Thompson, a very quick base runner, someone who was in that 1-2 early on in the campaign.
Yeah, who fits the mold more than Josh Thompson right here is that pitch outside for another ball. I think Josh Thompson, phenomenal in this role. I remember watching Harold Reynolds talk about this one time, having your number 9 guy in the MLB be just essentially another leadoff one as that one plunks Thompson in the back.
Thompson will take first base for free, and that brings up Tyler Vivakwa, the leadoff guy who had a single in his first at-bat, tried to turn it into a double, and got thrown out at second. But Vivakwa tried to get some revenge here. He's got Thompson at first, so we'll see if Thompson makes an attempt at second. The Doubledays have been a bit cautious so far this game in terms of taking second base. We saw Sullivan nearly get picked off a few times. So with a lefty in Gavin Chandler on the mound, now it's up to Thompson to see how aggressive he's going to be.
Yeah, I'd like to see maybe Thompson try and read Chandler at first. A lot easier said than done. We'll see in this at-bat.
Pitch misses just outside, ball number 1. And Luke, you've already touched on it multiple times, and I'll say it again. The Doubledays need to get runners in scoring position. It's tough to get hits against Gavin Chandler. Frankly, the Doubledays have slightly overperformed early in this contest by already getting 3 through just 2 innings. Not being able to convert is going to be tough for the Doubledays to overcome. if that trend continues.
Yeah, and you're afraid because Chandler's one of those pitchers. He might start a little rough, but he can lock in at any moment as that one's fouled off. And you just think about last inning, first 2 guys to reach are on the corner, then 3 in a row to get out of it, and relatively easily Chandler was able to get 2 shallow fly balls and then a ground out back, little dribbler back to him. So he has the ability to really strap in and lock in on the mound. So if you're the Doubledays, you want to jump on him quickly.
Pickoff attempt over at first, trying to catch Thompson by surprise, excuse me. And Luke, I think that's something that we'll see among a lot of the top pitchers in the PGCBL this season. Anyone can pitch well when the conditions are going good, but when you get in trouble, as there's another pickoff attempt, how to react to the adversity. We saw Heilman do a great job of it through his 5 wins this season. We've seen Owen Burchard do a great job of it. Now it's Gavin Chandler for Batavia. He's been doing it so far this game. The Doubledays need to be able to get past that as the pitch comes in for Chandler outside. 2-2 count evens it up.
And that's what makes these 3 pitchers that we've talked about that are all-stars for, 2 on the Doubleday side, Chandler on the mound tonight, on the Muckdog side. When they're able to stop the bleeding, the pitchers, that's how you know they're one of the best.
Another hit for Vivacqua lands in the gap between the fielders, and that'll put runners on the corners yet again. This time it's Vivacqua on first, Thompson on third, and deja vu for the Auburn Doubledays. Runners at the corners, no outs.
You said it perfectly, deja vu, as the Doubledays now again in prime position. But here, will they be able to convert after leaving 2 on in the previous inning? But you got the top of the lineup. Tyler Vivacqua obviously just had that single. Now you got Bobby Hardy, Mark Gialusi, and Anthony DeCesare still potentially able to come up in this inning with still nobody out.
Bobby Hardy looking to make his mark on this game early on. In his first at-bat, just had a pop-out as Vivacqua was caught in a pickoff, and the tag doesn't get there, doesn't get down in time, as it's the shortstop Fry seemingly upset with that call, and Skip Martinez also not too thrilled about that, as that was another close play where Espinal threw it over to Fry, and Fry thought he got it down, but Vivacqua also didn't seem too fazed by that. Didn't look like he really got tagged. The umpires will talk it over. As with no replay, it's tough to have any chance at overturning that without some clear evidence from the other umpire. And Martinez not going to be happy with that. It's a tough play, tough for the umpire to make that call, but we'll see Doubledays on both second and third with no outs. Another golden opportunity for the Doubledays.
Yeah, we've talked about it. The runners on first just have not been able to read Chandler. A great pickoff attempt, and why Skip Martinez is so mad is because the throw beat Vivacqua over to second. He should be out right now. The Fry, if he's able to apply the tag, there's no doubt about it, but Vivacqua sliding under the tag into second keeps him safe and on the base path. So, as you mentioned, golden opportunity for the Doubledays, but really lucked out there as, truthfully, Vivacqua should have been out there, but is able to finesse his way around the tag and is on second. So second and third for Bobby Hardy, nobody out. This Doubledays offense primed to potentially put a run or maybe even 2.
And almost as important as not getting the out at first, it also takes away the double play potential as that pitch misses ball number 1. Now Hardy, a ground out isn't the end of the world, as a ground out to second or short would have been devastating had there still been runners on the corners. Now that Vivacqua's at second, it's a bit safer. That one hit over to shortstop, and the throw will be made to home. Great play from Fry, throwing it to Fesh to take down a bit of a greedy attempt from Josh Thompson. And now the Doubledays still have runners on first and second, but look like they might be on the path to squandering yet another situation where they seem destined to score runs.
Yeah, just great play right there from Fry as that grounder to him. He was able to pick it, and then not only he was kind of on his knee, was able to come up with it and fire a dart to home plate and Fesh behind the plate to nab Josh Thompson, who was at third, who didn't get the greatest secondary, so it took him a second on the contact to get home. That throw, reached home way before Thompson was able to, and the tag was applied this time. So Doubledays, again, trying to find a way just to get a runner to touch home plate in this ball game.
0-1 count to Mark Gialusi, who singled in his first at-bat. That pitch gets in there, curves back in for strike number 2. Gialusi had kind of ducked out on that last pitch. Gialusi will be followed up by DeCesare, then Smith. 1 out on the board, 2 runners on base. That pitch swung on from Gialusi. That'll travel foul into the right field grandstands.
And one thing I did like from the Muckdogs, at least on that defense right there, they didn't bring their middle infielders, all the way in. They're actually kind of playing a few steps back from the infield dirt. So if they were all the way in, I think that ball would have got past him. But because he had a few more steps to work with, Fry was able to react as we're going to see a double steal.
And a quick steal from Vivakwa. The throw not there in time. He came off the bag, but he stuck on as Vivakwa started running before we saw Chandler even notice. And a fantastically executed double steal from the Auburn Doubledays.
Huge double steal from the Doubledays, as now that takes the double play out of the equation, ground ball double play, I should say, as I think if the second baseman Walker holds on to that tag, he has a chance against Hardy, but Hardy able to get his foot back and stay safe.
Gialusi lets that one get past him, and that's strike number 3, the first strikeout of the game for Gavin Chandler, and that'll bring up Anthony DeCesare, 2 outs and 2 runners in scoring position.
The movement on that pitch was incredible from Chandler, as that absolutely froze Gialusi. You mentioned a pitch earlier in that bat where he kind of ducked out of the way of it because he thought it might hit him, and then it just broke in, as that's exactly what happened on that pitch as well, as swung on and missed is the first pitch from DeCesare at the plate, who grounded out to second in his first at-bat.
DeCesare down in the count 0-1 quickly. And another pitch right on the edge of the strike zone. That one not going to be in there. Misses outside for a 1-1 count.
Doubledays just desperate to get a ball in play. DeCesare at first.
DeCesare cracks it. It's going to be a fly ball right to the shortstop. Fry gets underneath it in left center field. And another great performance by Gavin Chandler to get out of trouble. And the Doubledays still in a 0-0 deadlock game despite having plenty of runners on base. Doubledays leave 2 stranded. We'll be back here in the top of the 4th inning.
Here's out the right field gate with our base runners. Take it away, Kira.
All right, everybody ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
As you see some young kids running the bases here at the end of the 3rd inning, I just want to give thanks to some of our sponsors, some more of our sponsors. Casella, Cayuga Community College, Cayuga County Stop DWI, Cayuga Tourism, Cayuga County District Attorney, Sheriffs, and Auburn Police Department, Manila Trust Company, Classic Cones, Coffee Host, Chrysanthia, Dick's Sporting Goods, Dunkin' Donuts, MCOM, Fastenal, Grimsley Agency, Hematology Oncology Association, Hershey's Ice Cream, Hoffman Sausage, Honey-Do List, Jacob's Press, K&S Car Wash, Kanga Roofing, Costas, L&B Bank, and Dan Marion Roofing. I want to give thanks to those sponsors and more for helping make Doubleday baseball a possibility here in Auburn this summer.
It's been an underwhelming start for the Doubledays here. They've overperformed at the plate, I'd say, but still underperforming in the run column. The fact that this is a 0-0 game is quite frankly appalling, despite the fact that the Doubledays have won every aspect of this game so far.
Yeah, you just, at this point, have to just tip your cap right now to Gavin Chandler, as he has worked out of 2 jams, 2 consecutive innings, runners on first and third, nobody out, and thanks to him and his defense behind him, have kept the Doubledays scoreless.
And this has statistically been a subpar game for Chandler. We've seen him give up 4 hits through just 3 innings. We've seen him walk a batter already, hit a batter already, yet he's showing why he entered this contest with a 1.96 ERA. It's because of how talented he is there. So that's a base hit there from Tyler Cacciataro, his second of the night. Cracks that one into right field for his second of the night.
Oh, not a bad pitch right there from Lindari. Just Castro was able to be late enough to shoot it the other way and had enough velocity off the bat that it got past Vivacqua, who, standing where he was, positioned where he was at second, wasn't able to make the play. Not a bad pitch on the inside part of the plate, though, from Lindari. I've liked what Lindari's done on the mound so far in this game so far.
I certainly have, and as Lindari gets Cacciataro to dive back to first without even a pickoff attempt. Lindari keeping an eye on Cacciataro. Inman at the plate, cracks that one into left field. Smith tracking it, getting underneath it, and comes down with the snag. No tag up attempt. Another great play there from Brendan Smith out and left.
Eerily similar to his play in the first inning, going out to his right, tracking down that ball. It was flying closer and closer to the warning track. Good job by Brendan Smith, who we complimented earlier in this game. Has played a very good left field, not only tonight, but in his time he's been playing left field these past few games.
Yeah, on the campaign, you look at Smith's fielding percentage, and it's a respectable number, 929, and most of that dates back to one game where he had a few errors. Since then, he's been nearly flawless out there in the field.
Really gotten his feet under him out there in left field. And
steal attempt from Cacciataro, and DeCesare loses the ball on the transition. A quick stolen base for Tyler Cacciataro.
So now it's going to be Ryan Lindari's turn to work out of an inning with a runner in scoring position, as Cacciataro already here on second, but 1 out in the inning, opposed to the situations Chandler had to work on with runners on third and nobody out.
Pitch comes in and foul just barely down the right side line, or excuse me, the left side line. It's now a 1-2 count to Sean Mindas. The batter who singled in his first at-bat has a .451 average on the campaign. Mindas is someone who generally thrives with runners in scoring position. We'll see how he reacts to this situation. Swings on that, hits it over to Smith again. Smith doesn't really have to track much down this time. Goes right to him for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, that one more of a routine fly out, but Lindari, he'll take any fly out in that situation. Now there's 2 outs in the inning, as 1 out away from stranding a runner in scoring position.
Another important detail there, since it was going to left field, there's not going to be a tag up to third. We'll see Cacciataro still stuck at second. That's important in case there's potentially an infield single or something like that, as Espinal knocks it over to Smith again. Smith runs forward and gets underneath it. A third straight out made by Brendan Smith, the young left fielder out of Eastern Connecticut State University. Smith will send the Doubledays into the bottom of the 4th, still in a 0-0 ball game.
Batavia Muckdogs could not operate without response.
Doubledays will kick things off with the player who's arguably been the player of the game so far this game, Brendan Smith, the left fielder who walked in his first at bat and had all 3 outs out in left field, the top of the 4th inning. He steps up into the batter's box going against Gavin Chandler. Chandler has had 2 impressive escape acts in the past 2 innings. That first pitch in there for strike number 1.
Yeah, it feels like Harry Houdini on the mound tonight for the Muckdogs, the way he's been able to get out of trouble all throughout these past 2 innings, as the Doubledays have stranded 5 runners on base here in these first 3 innings, and that doesn't even tell you the whole story, as runners obviously also were in scoring position, and in scoring position with nobody out in 2 of those 3 innings.
That's the key thing. Nobody out in 2 of those scenarios. The Doubledays just can't afford to be doing that against both an elite pitching staff and some very good hitters over there on Batavia. As it's a swing and a miss from Brendan Smith there to even up the count at 2-2.
And as much we've talked about Gavin Chandler, and rightfully so in this ballgame, got to give Ryan Lundary a lot of credit. 4 innings so far. He's been incredible.
Lundary chases outside there for strike number 3. That'll bring up Adam Sullivan. Chandler now with 2 strikeouts on the day.
Sullivan had one of those hits, one of the 4 hits in this ball game for the Doubledays as he comes back up to the plate. Little lefty on lefty matchup with Sullivan stepping into the box.
As you mentioned, Luke, the Doubledays out hitting Batavia so far this game. Something that we almost see opposite here at home. The Doubledays get out hit but still outscore the other team. Well, the score's been even as that one hit, and it is a caught ball from Castrataro. Dives, gets underneath it. What looked like it was going to be Adam Sullivan's 2nd hit of the day turns into a fly ball.
I got to say, Castrataro, incredible jump right off the bat. He read that ball perfectly, able to make the sliding grab in center field. Like you mentioned, Rob Sullivan of a hit right there. That's just great play from the center fielder. The defense behind Chandler has been A+ as well tonight.
Absolutely stellar as we look at 0 errors so far. That first pitch to Sam Meyer in there for strike number 1. And the 0 errors, like, that's just a stat, but what we've seen, the eye test from this Batavia squad shows that this is a team that has great chemistry, great communication. We saw on the play where the shortstop Fry threw it right back to Cooper Fesh at catcher to take down a stealing Josh Thompson, not stealing, but a Josh Thompson making a play at home. Instantly, Fesh looked up and just pointed at Fry. Knew that was a great play, and there was never any hesitation that one fouled off down the left side. But it's that communication, that chemistry that leads to no errors consistently throughout this multiple stretch games in a row for the squad.
Right, and you mentioned the play at the plate. You know, just this inning, they robbed Sullivan of a hit. They robbed the Doubledays of a run. The defense has been there to play. Good block right there from Fesh, as that'll be ball number 1 to Meyer at the plate.
A pitch in the dirt for a 1-2 count. 2 outs quickly on the board, so Chandler tried to avoid any trouble this inning, even though he's shown he's able to get out of it. That one hit high. That's going to be the second baseman calling off the shortstop, the shortstop calling off the second baseman. Fry gets underneath it for a quick 1-2-3 inning for Gavin Chandler. We'll head into the 5th. Doubledays still looking for their first run, but in a 0-0 ball game with the top-ranked Batavia Muckdogs. We'll be back here at the top of the 5th inning.
for the Doubledays, number 22, Aiden Zerb.
Back here in the top of the 5th inning. And it's a new pitcher for Auburn. Ryan Landari went through 4 innings of work with an impressive 0 runs given up, 3 strikeouts, only 3 hits allowed. But manager Matt Petrosi going to opt to not extend him too long. Let Aiden Zur come into the game, the righty committed to Notre Dame. And through the campaign so far, we've seen Zur have a 9.24 ERA, which is a bit misleading. A solid 1-1 record. It's just 1 or 2 bad appearances have really put a damper on his stats. That first pitch outside. But we see Zer's potential there. 91 miles per hour on that fastball. Is that breaking ball? 83 miles per hour, misses low. Zer going against Cooper Fesh, who reached on a first base error in his last at-bat. That one swung on, fouled off behind him. 2-1 count to Cooper Fesh, the catcher. And Landari was having a pretty solid outing right there. Luke, what do you think about the decision to pull the starting pitcher there?
You know what? I assume that they had a either pitch count or they had a plan for Landari going into this game. And I believe his pitch count was only 40 pitches, if we talked about in between innings, as that one's going to be a ball for ball number 4 to Cooper Fesh. So I think Matt Petrosi probably just sticking to the plan. It might be something that they're just trying to build up Landari as a starter throughout the rest of this regular season so he can help contribute and go longer in games later on in the regular season and into the postseason if it comes to that. But I'm going to trust that Matt Petrosi and the team there, had a plan for Landari, because the way he was pitching, I don't think there's really any other explanation other than a plan pregame that they were following.
I'd agree with you. I think it had to have been a plan that Petrosi was just sticking to. Landari really was showing no signs of struggle, no signs of weakness. A few hits here and there, but that could be expected against a team like Batavia. As the second pitch of the at-bat misses outside, ball 1, 1-1 count.
Yeah, the final line for Landari was 4 innings pitched. He faced 15 batters, struck out 4, walked 0, gave up 3 hits, and what was a phenomenal 4 innings.
That ball hit directly to Sullivan. Sullivan to Vivacqua to Fishbein. Double play for the Doubledays. Great defense by the infield to get 2 outs in this inning, and that will now bring up Brian Fry. Just fantastic defense there from Auburn.
Great job by Adam Sullivan, as that ball actually hit the back of the mound and kind of had a ricochet and didn't have the usual bounce that Sullivan was ready, so he had to take a half step back, gather the ball cleanly, then fire over to Vivacqua at second and then over to first. So great defense there from the Doubledays. We were raving about the Muckdogs defense earlier. Doubledays defense showing out right there on that double play.
And funnily enough, that's the second time today that James Bolton has grounded into a double play. Swung on and missed there is Brian Fry. Brian Fry made an all-star team, batting .270 on the campaign. Part of the reason for that is his slugging got all the way up to .338 despite just a .270 batting average. Also pretty impressive in the field. That would hit directly to Zer. Zer nearly was able to snag that one, but pulled his glove back at the last second. Couldn't gather it, and that's a base hit there for Brian Fry.
Zer kind of slapped his glove right there, mad at himself for if he extended his hand and his glove hand, the right hand, about 6 more inches, that would have been exactly in the webbing. But, not much you can do when a ball that fast is coming right back at you after you pitch it. So it can't be too mad at Zer, but he's looking like, oh, if only I extend the hand a little bit out.
And that's just when human nature takes over. It's natural to want to duck away from probably a ball over 100 miles per hour hit directly back at you. Zer not doing anything wrong there, but it would have been great for the Doubledays if he could have made the play, managed to get that there. So that would hit over to right field. It's going to be Hardy coming underneath it, and that bounces into the bullpen. Hardy was going to try to make a play on the foul ball, but just a bit too far over to the right side.
Hey, if I was a pitcher in that position as Zur, I'd have probably ran off the mound in the other direction. I'd have been too scared to go for the next pitch. So, you know, you got to give props to pitchers, especially those who are able to field well out of their off the mound. Props to them because, yeah, those balls are coming pretty quickly. So, props to them. And, again, nothing you can be mad at Zur about. He's just mad at himself. You know, you can look at that in 2020 hindsight.
Certainly a steal attempt there. Fry goes over to second. That throw going to be way high from DeCesare. A little late, a little high, and a great start from Brian Fry. Was never really going to have an apt chance at getting him there, as it's now a 2-1 count with a runner in scoring position.
And good job by Sullivan jumping to save that ball from going into the outfield to keep the runner at second.
Swung on and missed there is Brian Fry for the second strike of the at-bat.
Zur bringing it up to 91 miles per hour on that high fastball. So wonder if he follows it back with another fastball here, trying to get strike number 3.
It is tough to touch his fastball, and he goes back to it, cracked over to Sam Meyer. Meyer gets underneath it fairly easily and snags the final out of the inning. The Doubledays, 5 scoreless innings held Batavia to. Now they have to put on a run of their own. We'll see if they can do it here at the bottom of the 5th.
And it is the middle of the 5th inning that needs a scavenger hunt time. So here is looking for a particular item, and the first person that brings it to her will win a gift card from our friends at Mason Grande. And Kira is going to tell us what she's looking for.
Are you guys up today? I am going to be looking for the first person who can bring me a hair clip.
Hey fans, we're proud to serve coffee from Coffee House of CNY in all parts and sessions. And Coffee House is located at 318 Tennessee Street, right here in Auburn.
It's going to be a new pitcher here at Falcon Park. Irwin's Branch taking over for Gavin Chandler. Luke has some more information on the relief pitcher.
Yeah, Branch, 4.38 ERA. This will be his 10th appearance of the season. Has no record, still 0-0. Pitched 12 1/3 inning, giving up 8 hits, 9 runs, only 6 earned, 11 walks, and 7 strikeouts so far in this season.
Yeah, the Jackson State product, been impressive out of the bullpen. That pitch, Wild gets past the catcher, Cooper Fesh. And certainly a success for the Doubledays in their minds, getting Gavin Chandler off the mound in 4 innings. Now, it might have been due to pitch count, but with the way that the Doubledays were consistently getting hits off him, you have to wonder if manager Skip Martinez was a little bit concerned about how Chandler was doing out there against a Doubledays order. That's been pretty successful against him.
Yeah, I feel definitely Doubledays had more success than you would, other teams might imagine against Chandler. So good for them. But I also think it might be a pre-game plan for Chandler only to go 4 innings, because both pitchers had relatively low pitch counts, and now they have.
Grounder over to short. Short throws it and gets over to Espinal. The Fry-Espinal connection is on point today. That gets out Max Fishbein. And that'll bring up Caden Albright. And, Luke, you mentioned Gavin Chandler, relatively low pitch count, but maybe it's just that Skip Martinez wanted to copy Petrosi's strategy of getting their fastest pitcher out there. But you see how fast Irwin's Bridge can throw. He gets up to 93, 94 miles per hour on his fastball. He's got some absolute heat.
You took the words out of my mouth. As Branch has come in here, I don't think he's broke 80, meaning I think all of his pitches have been 90 and above so far in this inning. Even in warm-ups, the gun was registering 91. So he comes in with just flames, as he's going to be a fastball thrower for most of the time on the mound.
As look at that, a breaking ball that is 90 miles per hour. Honestly, Bridge is a lot like my golf game. Can't get below 90.
That's a great one.
As that was a swing and a miss there. 1-1 count, 1 out on the board to Caden Albright, who grounded out in his first at-bat at pitch high. Finally, a bit below 90, 75 miles per hour from Branch to Albright.
Funny, Branch was not happy with himself after that pitch. Kind of looked like that ball slipped out of his hands, but, maybe he's not happy about the ball slipping or not hitting 90 for the 100th time already in this inning.
As the pitch comes in, and another blazer. This one 90 miles per hour, misses low for a 3-1 count. We saw Chandler walk a few batters here. They had 1 walk, 1 hit by pitch, but for the most part was a non-issue against the Doubledays. Branch looking to avoid his first walk of the night, and does not manage to avoid it. Throws it in the dirt for a quick 5-pitch ball to Albright.
Yeah, for the Doubledays, might be something too that you let Branch beat himself. Maybe trying to throw that hard. He's trying to pinpoint exactly where his pitches want to go, and when you do that, it can lead to you being a little bit out of control. Obviously, a walk is just a walk, so we'll have to see throughout the rest of the inning, but maybe it's something the Doubledays try and let Branch beat himself, but he hasn't shown that too much throughout this season. Doesn't have a ridiculous walk to strikeout ratios. We see a pickoff attempt here.
Yeah, I'd say that you see Branch relatively controlled for the most part. I think what ends up getting to him is generally his lack of pitches outside of that fastball, and the changeup really only goes to those 2 pitches consistently, and something that if the Doubledays can catch on to that, as that pitch dips in the dirt again, Fesh manages to stop it.
Branch, a righty on the mound, so look for the Doubledays to maybe get a bigger lead off of first now, as they are having trouble with Chandler, the southpaw, and his great move over to first base, his pickoff attempts throughout his 4 innings. But maybe now with Branch, the righty, we can see Doubledays on the move more.
Saw Sullivan nearly get picked off twice. We actually did see Tyler Vivacqua get picked off, but in what some would call a lucky play, some would call skilled base running, made it over to second. So the Doubledays didn't actually have anyone thrown out, but they were just forced to be very conservative, as that pickoff attempt not there in time. And that extra half second that comes with the righty versus the lefty, so huge for the base runners.
100%. It looks like the Muckdogs are thinking the exact same way we're thinking. We've already seen 2 pickoff attempts from Branch. They have to know that the Doubledays will be on the move at some point with runners on.
2-0 count, way inside, and that'll get past Fesh. And actually, that will clip Josh Thompson, his second hit by pitch in a row. So he'll take first for free. Albright would have been able to get there due to the pass ball anyways, but he'll go over to second. Now the Doubledays have another 2 runners on situation, this time with 1 out on the board.
For Josh Thompson, I think he is probably thanking anything that he's lucky, because I think that hit by pitch was honestly more of the jersey than his body.
Yes.
Because Thompson, that pitch was about 90 miles per hour and close to the rib cage for Thompson. He didn't react, so I think it was more of the jersey that caused the hit by pitch. But for your Josh Thompson, you're saying, "Ooh, thank you," because an inch, in 90 on the rib cage would not have been fun.
That does not feel good, and that's the type of velocity that, if it hits you the wrong way, could break a rib. That's how fast Branch is able to throw, and on that pitch, certainly reached that velocity. Now, Tyler Vavakwa up to the plate. He's singled in each of his at-bats so far. Obviously, first one didn't go as he wanted it to, but the second one, another very nice single that put the Doubledays in good position. You see on the mound right now, a long chat with Irwin's Branch and the rest of his squad. He's going to stay in the game, but maybe a short leash for the reliever.
As I look in the bullpen, I do see an arm throwing a lefty. I don't have the number at the moment, but you got to think the hook might be short for Branch. The leash might be short as well for him on the mound. If he's not able to get an out here against Vavakwa, that might be the last we see of Branch in this ballgame.
Yeah, on the campaign, averaging just 1.3 innings pitched per appearance. This is his 10th appearance of the season. Second on the Batavia squad.
Corners playing in infielders, middle infielders playing at double play depth.
That pitch misses low and outside, ball number 1.
Well, actually, it looks like the shortstop, Fry, playing more double play depth. Okay, there goes Walker. Moves closer towards second base than the previous pitch. Was playing a little bit in the middle, but both still looking for it to roll a double play and get out of the inning up the middle.
It's a 1-0 count, 1 out on the board. Pitch comes in, swung on by Vavakwa, going directly to the left fielder. Mindas makes the play, and no tag up will be made, as that puts 2 outs on the board, with runners still stuck on first and second. Bobby Hardy up to bat. And Luke, as you mentioned, a bit of a shift defensively for the Muckdogs. But one thing I have picked up on, you look at their second baseman, and he's really not shifting over that much, despite Espinal moving up so much from first base. Where we see the Doubledays, when they shift up their first baseman, the second baseman moves nearly all the way halfway between first and second base. An interesting distinction between the two squads.
That's a great point. I think maybe it was because Vavakwa, the lefty, they think pull, so they want him covering more opportunities on the right side of the field, but still a great point, and we'll have to see if that happens anytime later in the game as well.
That pitch outside, 92 miles per hour. 1-0 count with 2 runners on. And the Doubledays trying to avoid stranding their 6th and 7th runners of the day.
And another runner in scoring position is first and second.
Swing and a whiff from Bobby Hardy. Gets it up to a 1-1 count. It's just so tough to keep up with the speed that Irwin's Branch has.
100%, and then he can switch it. We've seen it go 75 miles per hour, so just kind of got to load up for that fastball if you're a hitter at the plate, I believe.
And that changeup is also very deceptive, but speed-wise, it's not that different, as that pitch gets the strike zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and that's the changeup I'm talking about. It just kind of dips, but it looks so similar because the speed, the velocity isn't changing much. It just dips at the very end and catches these batters by surprise. 1-2 count, 2 outs on the board. Pitch comes in, and that one fouled down the right side. Bit of a quick windup there from Irwin's Branch.
One thing for the hitters for the Doubledays, it's one thing to see 91. As there's not a lot of pitchers in this league that have gotten up to 91, but when they do, it's like, okay, yeah, they have velocity. But Branch is throwing 91 every single pitch, so it's one thing to see it one pitch and not see it again for the at-bat. You're seeing 91 every single pitch in this at-bat.
Something the Doubledays will have to adjust to if they want to finally get some runs across. It's still Bobby Hardy in the batter's box, readying for the pitch. As Branch looking behind him, and a little low there, just barely low. evens it up. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs on the board, and still 2 runners on base. Want to give a special shout out to all of our social media team, especially our social media guy, Nick. They've been doing some great work. Check out the social medias. Find all your Auburn Doubledays baseball content there.
Shout out Mr. Indelicato.
As that pitch gonna nab Bobby Hardy right in the side, 92 miles per hour, takes it like a chip and runs over to first base as the bases are loaded with Mark Gialucci stepping up.
Wow. Hardy, we talked about Josh Thompson getting hit by a pitch. Looked like that was mostly the jersey. No, that certainly hit Bobby Hardy. And like you said, he took it like a champ and a warrior, just jogging down there to first. You'd have had to put me on the 15-day IL if that was the case. That pitch hit me anywhere on my body. But Hardy's over there at first. And again, bases loaded for the Doubledays.
I think that's why we sit up here in the press box. As that one hit past the pitcher, but oh wow, a massive collision, and it's the shortstop Fry flipping over there. Vivakwa down on the, Hardy down on the ground. He gets back up. That was a massive collision that saw literally fully 180-degree flip, and it looks like Hardy will be okay. We'll see if he comes back in later in this contest as he's having a chat with both manager Matt Petrosi and some of the rest of the coaching staff. Seems like he's fine. He's going to walk off the field. The Doubledays will strand some more runners on, but thankful to have everyone okay after that last collision. We'll be back here in the top of the 6th inning.
Against RJ Jewelers, one of Auburn's largest family-owned jewelry stores. So for all of your jewelry needs, stop and see them on Grant Avenue, right here in Auburn. Tonight's game is sponsored in part by your local Dunkin', America and Auburn. Run on Dunkin'.
And then it's because the EOS
It's trivia time. Each here has a contestant in the red stand who's going to win some free game tickets if they can answer the question correctly. So who do you have with you, Kira?
Alright, you guys, here I have Andy with me. And are you ready for your question? Alright. New York Yankees were known by a different name during the first 10 years in the Major League Career. What was their original name? The Highlanders, the Titans, the Giants, or the Gothams? That is correct.
Here in the top of the 6th inning, as we've seen a pitcher's duel on both sides, as both teams have also gone to their bullpen on their second pitcher, Aiden Zur, in his 2nd inning of work. As the first pitch here to Caleb Walker is going to be a ball. Walker showed bunt, but pulled back on the outside pitch. As the 1-0 pitch will be high, count now 2-0. Nasty collision at the end of the inning, but it looks like everybody involved is okay. I believe I saw Bobby Hardy run out to right field, as that one's going to be outside quickly. The count 3-0. So happy everybody is okay after that collision, which could have been extremely scary.
Certainly could have been, and yes, as you mentioned, thankfully everyone's okay. That one in there for strike number 1.
3-1 now to Walker, who is taking all the way on that pitch. Doubledays stranded. 3 runners there, as that one's in there for strike number 1, or strike number 2, excuse me, to have the count full now. Zer delivers a payoff pitch. That one's going to be hit in the air, out to center field. Coming in is Meyer, and running in, he'll make the grab for out number 1. Great job right there from Aiden Zer, battling back. Originally was down 3-0 in the count. Able to get the opening out of the inning.
And for this Batavia squad to only have 4 hits through 2 full cycles through the order, very impressive for the Doubledays, certainly on a collision course for a great game.
First pitch here to the top of the lineup, and Braden Horton is going to be called a strike as Horton's 0 for 2, flying out to center field and grounding to second base in his 2 at-bats. 0-1 outside, count now even at 1-1. It's funny, for basketball, when a team doesn't score, you say, looks like there's a lid on the rim as the 1-1 pitch is hit out into right center field. Coming in is the right fielder, Bobby Hardy, who calls off the center fielder for out number 2. Quickly, 2 outs here in the inning. So in basketball, you have the lid on the rim. Right now, it feels like there's a wall in between third base and home plate, as both teams have had runners on in what's felt like every single inning. With the Doubledays runners in scoring position, most of the time they have been up to bat, but just have not been able to find one runner to cross over home plate and put up a run in this inning, as that one's going to be swung on and missed from Tyler Castrotero for strike number 1. Castrotero 2 for 2 with 2 hits in this ball game.
While we're talking about other sports, that one cracked foul. It's similar to football where you talk to any head coach and they say, you've got to win 2 out of the 3 aspects between offense, defense, and special teams. Well, the Doubledays have been winning 2 of the 3 aspects. I'd say they've been winning when it comes to hitting, winning when it's been coming to pitching. It's just when it comes to fielding, that's what Batavia's winning, and that's why this game is still 0-0. Batavia's played such a clean game in the field that they've been able to keep this game scoreless, excuse me.
Strong fielding can help mask some of your mistakes, and Batavia hasn't made many mistakes. Just Doubledays have been able to get hits, something you don't see against the Muckdogs pitching, especially Gavin Chandler, that much, and their great fielding has been able to hide that in this ball game. As that pitch outside, count now 1-2 to Castrotero, as the pitch is going to hit Castrotero in the back for a hit by pitch. Zer looked like he was trying to throw an off-speed pitch, wasn't able to break enough, and plunks Castrotero in the back to put him on with 2 outs, bringing up Jackson Inman to the plate, who's 0 for 2 on the game.
Yeah, and you could just tell on the face of Zer right there, he was not happy with that pitch. Just tried to get it down, could not, and right into the back of Castrotero. That one certainly couldn't have felt good.
Yeah, all these hit by pitches tonight. Shout out to the players wearing them like warriors as Inman comes to the plate. 2 outs here, approaching 8 p.m. here at Falcon Park. Each pitcher in this game worked quickly, as first pitch will be just inside for ball number 1. Zer was wondering where that one was, not for a strike. Reddy's back on the rubber, looked at first, now delivering to home. Similar pitch as he kind of shakes his head saying, where was that? Where did I miss? Count now 2-0 to Inman, 88 miles per hour on that pitch. Zer peers in, now delivers a 2-0, fouled straight back, went back to the inside fastball, had Inman swinging, fouls that one off again, 88 miles per hour from Zer. So while he's not going to reach 91 every single pitch like Ranch, he is going to hit that high 80s and cross over to that 90s, many times throughout an at-bat.
And that's why he's a Notre Dame commit, because he has that ability to really switch things up. He has the top end velocity, but he also delves more into his bag than we see a pitcher like Branch do.
Other pitch fouled off from Inman as Castrotero was on the move but had to retreat back to first, as there's 2 outs with a count 2-2 right here. 0-0 ball game. The pitch from Zer is going to be just fouled, as that will keep the at-bat alive for Jackson Inman. Just was able to get a piece of that one, fouled that one straight back to the backstop to stay alive and keep the count remaining at 2-2. 2 outs, runners on first. 0 ball game on the move, but swinging and missing is Jackson Inman for strike number 3 as Aiden Zur finishes off the top of the 6th inning. As Zur, 2 straight innings, not giving up a run, as we've seen no runs in this ball game. Doubledays coming to the plate trying to change that. 0-0 ball game. We'll be back right after this.
And we have yet another birthday in ballpark tonight. Let's wish a happy 40th birthday to Dick Foro to Kevin Ward.
Want to thank the rest of our sponsors here, not only tonight with this beautiful season here at Falcon Park, as Mark's Pizzeria, MCV Law, Mesa Grande, Midstate Mutual, Mr. Pizza, New York, Environmental Protection Fund, Pavlos Planet Fitness, RJ Jewelers, Salvation Army, Seneca Stone, Snapper, Swifties, Tompkins Trust, Tradition Automotive Group, Unity House, Wegmans, Wendy's, and Wright Beverage. We want to give a big thanks to them and all of our sponsors for helping make Doubledays baseball a possibility as we come here to the bottom of the 6th in a 0-0 ball game. Up to bat first here in the inning is Anthony DeCesare, who's 0 for 2 in the ball game. Facing Irwin's Branch in this bottom half of the inning. First pitch is going to be high from Branch for ball 1 to DeCesare.
And this hasn't been DeCesare's strongest game on both sides. Hasn't managed to throw out a runner at second yet. Has let a few balls kind of toy with him on the pitches from both Lundari and Zur. He's been solid, don't get me wrong, but we normally see perfection from the veteran out of the University of Delaware. DeCesare has the chance to really right the ship here in this at-bat.
2-0 pitch is going to be hit on the ground, foul down the third base line. I will say, with the velocity that Branch has and the power DeCesare has at the plate, if he connects on one, he could certainly give that ball a ride and maybe over that left field wall. A lot easier said than done here, especially against Branch. And the speed on the mound as he's working out of the windup, on a 2-1 pitch high and inside, ducking out of the way. Getting out of the way of that one is DeCesare. Now make the count 3-1.
We still have only seen 1 home run here at Falcon Park from the Doubledays this season.
Wouldn't this be a perfect time to see number 2 as DeCesare in a hitter's count, 3-1. Pitch here comes from Branch. Will be on the outside part of the plate for strike number 2. DeCesare will now be in a full count. Branch trying to work himself back this count. Quickly working. Payoff pitch is going to be hit on the ground over to third. That's Herreras throw into first in time for out number 1. DeCesare got a hold of that one, but right at the third baseman for out number 1.
And that's where that velocity is almost a negative for the batter because it gets over to the third baseman so quickly. Normally, with how far of a throw that is, it's generally maybe a play at first or at least one step off, but with how fast it was hit over to Carreras, it wasn't even a close play at the plate.
Yeah, Carreras knew he had time with the velocity that ball exited the bat off of DeCesare from. First pitch going to be strike to Brendan Smith. Smith 0 for 1 with a walk in this ball game. Got his steps in out there in left field as well in tonight's ball game. 0-1 pitch, same spot, outside part of the plate for strike number 2. That one reached 93 miles per hour from Branch.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Branch go to his changeup here, try to fool the young batter.
0-2. Gonna go 92 miles per hour for strike 3. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, as he'll get Brendan Smith looking there for strike number 3 and out number 2 here in the 6th inning. Branch finding his command opposed to the 5th inning where he hit a batter. He hit 2 batters, excuse me, and walked a batter as well. But here in the 6th inning, it seems like he's got everything figured out, as first 2 hitters of the inning have recorded outs, as that first pitch here to Adam Sullivan will be inside and low for ball number 1.
Sometimes with a pitcher like this, it just comes down to a veteran managing to snap the streak for the Doubledays. Adam Sullivan, a very smart batter, knows what it takes to take down a high velocity pitcher.
Sullivan not able to check his swing right there, so that's going to be strike number 1, evening the count at 1-1 to Sullivan. Branch working quickly again. Pitch is going to be swung on and missed. 93 miles per hour right there for strike number 2. Branch now ahead in the count, 1-2. The pitch. Good pitch right there from Branch, 94 miles per hour. But looked like it was just low for ball number 2. Sullivan stays alive in the count.
That was about what you see Branch normally top out at with his fastball, 94 miles per hour.
Went off speed there, but lost a little bit of control as that one's high. Now pulling the count full, 3-2 to Adam Sullivan.
You see him wipe off his hand after every curveball he throws, but just hasn't been falling for him.
Pitch is going to be hit in the air out to left field, but it's going to be Mindos there, as he is able to bring that one in for out number 3 as the Doubledays go down in order, 1, 2, 3 in the bottom of the 6th. Still no runs in this ball game. Remains a 0-0 tie. We'll be back at the top of the 7th as Aiden Zur comes to the mound, trying to keep it 0 runs for the Muckdogs. We'll be back right after this. Luke Backman, Ryan Story here on the call with a pitcher's duel here at Falcon Park. Aiden Zur back on the mound for the Doubledays. First pitch is going to be a strike to Sean Mindos. Zur back on the mound for his 3rd inning of work. Pitch to scoreless twos. We've seen nothing but scoreless innings. That one quickly in there for another strike, now ahead in the count 0-2.
Both pitchers have found some success on the outside part of the plate. We'll see how often they go back to that.
Pitch fouled off. Mindos stays alive in this count. Hear the Undertaker's bell. They're trying to work Another strikeout. Already has one. Trying to find his second. That one's going to be outside for ball one. Ryan, I got to ask, who's your favorite wrestler?
Wrestler?
Yep.
That's a fun one. You know, John Cena's too classic. I might have to go with The Rock, as that's a rock solid pitch there from Aiden Zer to get the strikeout.
Strike number 3 out. Number 1, Aiden Zer working his way off. John Cena, that's... And I've never actually been to wrestling. I don't know. Did you watch wrestling growing up a lot?
No, not really.
Oh, yeah. So I've kind of gotten into some of the storyline a little bit lately, but, you know, it's just casual fandom. That was... He swung on and missed. Espinal for strike number 1.
I have heard that maybe a potential like walk-up song WWE night has been teased by our scoreboard operator Jimmy. We'll see if that actually comes to fruition. But now that it's been talked about, now there's some pressure on, you know?
The pressure is on, and I'll give a little update about that. I heard something earlier today that he might be thinking about doing it either tomorrow or Thursday. So if you're a big WWE fan, I think that means you got to come out to Falcon Park to experience that, as that's going to be just outside. Espinal able to check his swing for ball number 1, count now 1-2.
Speaking of fun things, Saturday got fireworks coming to Falcon Park. Always make sure to pop out for that one.
Be a huge night at the park. Check swing. Oh, they're going to say he goes. And Espinal, that's rough because the field umpire is on your backside over there at first base. The lefty Espinal is going to go down on strikes, but if you're Aiden Zer, hey, you do not care, as that's going to be strike number 3 and out number 2. 2 consecutive strikeouts. First pitch here will be strike number 1 to Cooper Fesh. Ryan mentioned Saturday as the 0-1 pitch will be just high for ball number 1. Ryan mentioned Saturday, that's going to be HOA Cancer Care Celebration, which is going to be a phenomenal night here at the ballpark. My first year here in Auburn has been this year, and I've only heard about incredible past seasons here on HOA night, so it's definitely a night you want to make sure you're here at the ballpark for, as there's a fly ball out to center field. Tracking it is Sam Meyer, who makes the running play just in front of the warning track. That'll be a 1-2-3 7th inning for Aiden Zer. He has been dominant on the mound, as well all pitchers have here tonight. Doubledays trying to change that tune in a 0-0 ball game. They're trying to put up the first run. We'll be right back after this. Doubledays coming to the plate here in the bottom of the seventh, still a 0-0 ball game. They'll see a new pitcher, third pitcher of this game for the Muckdogs. It's going to be Evan Hollinsworth on the mound here. The lefty is going to face Sam Meyer in the first at bat.
Hollinsworth, a very volatile pitcher where he averages nearly a strikeout per inning, but also averages nearly a walk per inning. That's why you look at his batting average, what he excels in, he holds the opposing team to just a 169 batting average against him. That's his bread and butter. He just doesn't let players get hits.
That will be foul and out of play. Evening the count at 1-1. That pitch 88 miles per hour from Hollinsworth feels like a trend in tonight's game. It's been velocity on both sides. Pitch from Hollinsworth. Bunted, but foul. Meyer, who showed bunt on the first pitch, but pulled it back and then swinging on the second pitch. This was foul. Obviously, bunt attempt, not able to lay it down on the breaking ball. There's behind in the count, 1-2. Days went down 1-2-3 in the sixth. Seventh, that pitch will bend in there for strike number 3. Having Sam Meyer frozen down looking for out number 1.
Quick start for Evan Hollinsworth.
Pitchers in this, I say both pitchers, both teams' pitchers worked quickly and have been impressive here tonight. We saw Zer with 2 strikeouts in the top half of the inning, freezing Muckdogs hitters. Hollinsworth right there, swinging and missing at the first pitch is Max Fishbein, 0 for 2 in this ball game. Both teams 0 runs, both teams 4 hits. Doubledays have 1 error, but immediately followed that error with a double play. Didn't cost them anything as that pitch is outside 89 miles per hour to even the count at 1. Dogs have played phenomenal defense. Now all their pitchers right as the pitch is he swung on and missed 88 miles per hour. Hollinsworth showed an array of pitches so far and a hitter plus here in this inning. Oh, Fishbein in the count 1-2, so better to do so. Hollinsworth Reddy's on the mound and deals the 1-2. That's going to be swung on and missed in the dirt. So throwing to first is the catcher Fesh. Be in plenty of time. We're out number 2 in this inning.
Yeah, and we just look at Hollinsworth, what he does. Catches batters swinging. He's very tough to predict how to hit against, and his ability to just take command of at-bats and control his bag is ridiculously impressive.
It would be a lot different than Branch, who's going to throw 90 miles per hour plus in almost every single one of his pitches, and then obviously his off-speed stuff wasn't there command-wise there tonight, so you're kind of going to the plate realizing, I got to get ready for a fastball. Hollinsworth so far, is that one's going to, as they're going to see whether or not that hit Albright in the foot. Albright threw his bats thinking it was getting ready to head to first, as the plate umpire is going to say, no, hit the ground, not your foot. That's going to be a ball, but the count now 2-0 to Albright. Walking his last at-bat. Well, Hollinsworth shown as I mentioned, different array of pitches, and you can't just load up on one pitch like you would have done against Branch.
That's a pretty drastic change to have to make. It's a lot of mental preparation going against a guy who throws over 90 miles per hour every pitch. You have to prepare yourself. I'm swinging faster than I normally do, faster than I do in the bullpen, faster than I do against the starting pitcher. Now you switch all the way back to being prepared for those 80 to 85 mile per hour pitches. It's a tough change.
Once hit on the ground over to short. That's going to be Fry fielding, throwing across the diamond. the first in time for the 6-3 put out. That'll put the Doubledays down in order. 1, 2, 3. We're through 7. Scoreless game so far, 0-0. Doubledays looking to keep it that way. We'll be back at the top of the 8th right after this.
Alex Vasquez, and they're going to pick tonight's winning number.
All right, guys, the prize pool for the 50-50 tonight is $127. And our prize winner is... $483,399. We have a winner?
We're here in the 8th inning, and actually exactly where we started at, 0-0. This ball game as Aiden Zur is back out for his 4th inning of work. First pitch will be a strike here to James Bolton on the outside part of the plate for strike number 1, making the count 0-1. Swung on, missed there from Bolton in the box, a little bit wild on the 80-mile-per-hour pitch, as that's going to put him in the hole. 0-2 right now. They're pitching. The pitchers count that one, and there for strike number 3, getting James Bolton to go down looking. Went from 80 to 91 miles per hour. Those back-to-back pitches. Bolton, nothing but watch it for out number 1 here in the 8th inning.
Tough game so far for the designated hitter, James Bolton. Grounded into 2 double plays to kick off his night, and going down 1-2-3 in his 3rd at-bat. He does not have much time to turn things around.
Now that brings up the shortstop, Brian Fry, who's played a phenomenal night in the field at the plate. He's 1 for 2 with a single in his last at-bat, and then stole a base. So that one's hit up the middle. That's going to be Vivakwa at second, throwing to first. In time for out number 2. Actually, funny, Zur almost was able to catch that one out of the air. We talked about, I believe it was Lundari early in the game, had an opportunity and kind of angry about it. That time, I think that might have touched the top of Zur's glove, but right over to Vivakwa, the fielding second baseman, is that one over to first in time. That one now hit on the ground to the third baseman, Josh Thompson, throw across the diamond in time for out number 3. A quick top of the 8th. I think that took about maybe 2 minutes in total time. As Doubledays come to the plate here in the bottom of the 8th. I've said it again. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Looking to break the tie and put up the first run of this ball game. We'll be back with a great ball game here, 0-0. Make sure you stick with us right after this.
Leading off for Doubledays, third baseman from Seattle College, and then Josh Thompson.
Here in the bottom of the 8th is Josh Thompson, Tyler Vavakwa, then Bobby Hardy, who will come to the plate here in the bottom of the 8th, facing Evan Hollinsworth on for his second inning of work. First pitch outside to Thompson for ball number 1. Feels like both teams are playing like they have somewhere to go here tonight, as we're through 7.5 innings. Haven't even completed 2 hours of total time in this ball game. That pitch outside for ball number 2, counting out 2-0.
Yeah, Luke, having the last 2 games each extend over 3.5 hours. It's a bit of whiplash right now.
Yeah, it's wondering if we're at the right stadium. But Doubledays trying to put up a run in this ball game. Pitch outside, 3 consecutive balls, going to make 3-0 the count to Josh Thompson.
Bet Josh Thompson right here just hoping a ball doesn't hit him. He's already gotten hit twice this game. Doesn't want to add another bruise onto that total.
3-0 pitch is going to be right down the middle. Taking all the way was Thompson, though. Still in control of the count, up 3-1. As the 3-1 is going to be hit in the air, out to left field. That's Mindas traveling back to make the catch for out number 1. As that'll bring the top of the lineup up to the plate, and Tyler Vavakwa, who's had a nice night at the plate, 2 for 3, 2 singles. Obviously his first single got thrown out trying to advance to second, but followed it up in the 3rd inning with a single and then 2 consecutive stolen bases.
Now Vavakwa just trying to get on, trying to recapture some of that momentum that the Doubledays had been able to generate early on in this contest as he swings and misses there. The Doubledays haven't been able to get anything going since maybe the 3rd or 4th inning.
Yeah, Doubledays haven't seen a base runner since the 5th inning of this ball game, going 1, 2, 3, both in the 6th and the 7th, as that one's going to be outside to even the count at 1-1. Vavakwa, the switch hitter, now batting righty with the lefty Hollinsworth on the mound. Pitch is going to be hit foul. Now they count 1-2 here to Vavakwa.
Look at the stellar speed from the Doubledays ball boy.
Absolutely, he's cruising there behind the plate as he makes his way back over to the Doubledays dugout. Hollinsworth delivers a 1-2. That's going to miss outside for ball 2, evening the count at 2s. Aqua steps back into the batter's box. Nice night here at Falcon Park. Crowd, we've seen a great game and a quick game so far. 2-2 is going to be grounded foul. Oh, we talked about first base coaches showing, you know, some effort out there. Matt Petrosi at third base, just watch that, let that ball go right past him.
Yeah, normally he's kind of quick to jump on those grounders, hit him. Today, got the arms crossed. He's just going to let that one go for the ball boy to get.
Thinking about ways his team can get on the board in this ball game. As that one's fouled off. Good job by Vavakwa staying alive in this at-bat. Again, nobody has crossed home plate so far for either team. Doubledays, well, they've certainly had their opportunities this game. As the 2-2 count here is going to be hit up the middle. That's going to be Fry, who fields it and throws to first in time for out number 2, as that's going to be a 6-3 ground out for Vavakwa. Fry, he's played a phenomenal shortstop here tonight. He throws out the second baseman, Tyler Vavakwa, for out number 2, bringing up Bobby Hardy, the right fielder, to the plate. He's reached twice in this ball game, one a fielder's choice, and then he stole second after that, and then was hit by a pitch back in the 5th inning. Comes to the plate with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. First pitch from Hollinsworth will be in there for strike number 1. 0-1 showing bunt. That one's hit in the air, but going to be foul. So now behind in the count is 0-2 Bobby Hardy. Trying to just find his way on base. As again, the Doubledays have not had a base runner since the 5th inning. You know, they started this game off fast. It seemed like base runners on every inning and in scoring position most of those innings. And the bats have gone silent. Got to give props to Branch and Hollinsworth, who have come in relief for the Muckdogs.
Who would have guessed that the Doubledays, had the most success against all-star pitcher Gavin Chandler?
100%. We came into this game talking about Chandler, one of the premier pitchers so far throughout this season in the PGCBL. Doubledays had their way early, but not late, as going down swinging is Bobby Hardy for another 1-2-3 inning, as we've concluded 8 in this ball game. Coming to the top of the 9th, Doubledays trying to keep the Muckdogs at 0. We'll be back here. It's going to be an exciting finish no matter what. Stick with us for more Doubledays baseball. Here in the 9th, as we saw an ejection in between innings, the pitching coach, Grant Bickham, for the Batavia Muckdogs, strong with the home plate umpire, and I was looking down, finishing out my scorebook, quickly. Was thrown out of this game. I heard there was jawing in between some of the players, but game has shown us everything except a run, as that one takes a weird hop on the first pitch, but Vivacqua fields it easily over to first for a first pitch out for Caleb Walker.
And maybe the Doubledays could use this as some sort of turning point, maybe some momentum to build upon. We saw the fans kind of get into it. That's how we both kind of looked up, because the crowd went almost crazy. The loudest they've gotten all game, it seems like, is the Doubledays offense hasn't given them much to cheer for.
Back to the top of the order. Braden Horton comes to the plate. Aiden Zur still on the mound. Phenomenal work from both the starting pitcher, Ryan Lundari, and Aiden Zur. That one in there for strike number 1. Count now even. 1-1. That one's low for ball number 2. Which team will break first? Which offense will come alive? Remember, here in the PGCBL, in extras, they only play 1 extra inning, and that'll be the 10th inning. So each team down to their last 6 outs. That one's in there for strike number 2. For the Doubledays, they'll come to the plate. The way they will win this ball game is via a walk-off fashion. Either it will be here in the 9th or in the 10th inning. So we will have to see, as that one's going to be hit in the air and fouled. Obviously, Auburn has become familiar with the word tie this season as well. 3 ties on the year already. You know, Obviously, you know, a tie isn't awful. It means it's not a loss, but it's not a win either. And when you get down to the nitty-gritty and postseason implications, you can look back on some of those ties and be like, oh, we had them. We were just right there. Doubledays trying to make sure tonight is not one of those nights they look back on later on in the season. That pitch fouled off to stay alive is Horton. We have a full count here, 3-2. Payoff pitch is going to be hit in the air. That's going to bring Sullivan out and Meyer in. Meyer calling him off in center field, running in to make the grab for out number 2. So quickly 2 outs here in this 9th inning for Aiden Zer.
And Luke, you had mentioned one of these teams is bound to break through eventually, and you know, if the dam was going to burst a few innings ago, now there's literally water seeping through the cracks as both teams just have been unable to produce anything offensively.
That one's in there for strike number 1. Yeah, this game, about 5th inning when the relievers came in, totally flipped on its head as we were seeing runners on every inning, multiple guys on an inning, swung on and missed. Castro trying to change the score with one swing right there. He's down in the count 0-2 now. Hey, Zer has put down the last 9 Muckdogs he's faced, trying to make it 10, ahead in the count 0-2. That one swung on and missed for a 1-2-3 at bat and a 1-2-3 inning, as the Doubledays will now come to the plate here in the bottom of the 9th, trying to walk it off in front of their fans here in Auburn. Stick with us for an exciting finish to this ball game. We'll be right back after this. Here we are, bottom of the 9th. Doubledays looking to walk it off and win this ball game. As new pitcher here for the Batavia Muckdogs, Eric Woodley will step onto the rubber, having to face the heart of the order for the Doubledays. It's going to be Mark Gialusi, Anthony DeCesare, and Brendan Smith, the 3 batters coming to the plate here in the bottom of the 9th. First pitch will be in there for a strike to Gialusi.
We saw Woodley last go for 7 innings when Batavia took over first place in the Western Division of the PGCBL, now trying to show off his chops as a relief pitcher.
Pitch is going to be fouled off the leg of Gialusi. Now behind in the count quickly, 0-2. Gialusi 1 for 3 in this ball game. a single back in the first inning. 0-2 pitch here from Woodley is going to be cut on and missed right there from Gialusi. High fastball had him chasing for out number 1. It's going to bring up Anthony DeCesare to the plate, 0 for 3 in tonight's ball game.
DeCesare 0 for 3 on the night. Obviously a big loss for the Doubledays not having Gialusi, arguably their best hitter, not get on base there. But now you bring up DeCesare, someone who proved that he can hold his own, just needs to do it this game.
First pitch will be low for ball number 1 from Woodley. Fans here on the edge of their seats waiting something from this Auburn offense, knowing it takes one not only to score a run, but also win this ball game as home plate umpire comes out from behind the plate. I believe he's making note of a potential defensive substitution. Myself, I'm trying to figure out exactly what substitution that would be. But it seems like everything is cleared up there. As come back to this at bat, the 0-1 pitch will be in there for a strike on the outside part of the plate to DeCesare. Count now even at 1-1. Woodley, righties on the rubber, deals a 1-1. That one's low for ball number 2. Fesh was not happy with that, kind of yelling at himself, but I'm sure that was meant for the home plate umpire. Pointed at Woodley saying, that's a great pitch, not your fault, it was not a strike. 2-1 pitch is going to be in there for a strike. Looked like a very similar spot, but that one called a strike, so count now 2-2.
You can tell Batavia not too thrilled with the performance of the home plate umpire this game.
2-2 pitch will be high for ball number 3. I know obviously they're not happy with the ejection that took place in the prior inning, but I think the home plate umpire has done a fine job here tonight. You know, a lot of strikes.
I certainly haven't seen anything wrong with how he's been calling the game.
2-2 is going to be swung on and misses. DeCesare chases on that pitch for strike number 3. Brendan Smith now comes to the plate with 2 outs in the 9th.
But sometimes it doesn't really matter if there's validity behind the concerns or behind the ejection. All that matters is how riled up it gets the team. And it seems like this pitching staff, especially for Batavia, has really gotten behind their pitching coach and is coming out with a vengeance.
Trying to make a point for sure, as that one rolled foul for strike number 1 for Brendan Smith. I gotta say, it also hasn't been the toughest night for the home plate umpire because all these pitchers have come in and just thrown strikes all night. That one outside for ball number 1. Count now 1-1.
11 pitches for Woodley so far, 7 strikes. As you mentioned, all 7 of the pitches we've seen today, or 6, have been very efficient.
Swung on and missed right there. Smith way ahead of the off-speed pitch. He's now down in the count 1-2. So Woodley on the rubber, sees the pitch he likes, steals the 1-2. That one's line foul. Smith again just ahead of that off-speed pitch. Woodley going off-speed, 82 miles per hour on 2 consecutive pitches. See whether he goes with the off-speed stuff or brings the heat, shakes off the first 2 signs he saw, now deals the 1-2. Pitch fouled, staying alive, went with the heater, bringing it up to 91 miles per hour. But Brendan Smith staying alive.
Pitch comes in.
2 is going to be swung on there for Eric Woodley as he strikes out all 3 batters here in the 9th. As we're going to head to the 10th. 0-0 still here as the Doubledays will come to the mound and the field, trying to hold this lead. We'll be back right after this. Stick with us.
And one more birthday to celebrate tonight. Let's move to happy birthday to Josephine Arcegen.
Back here in extra innings for the first time at Falcon Park this season. Still a 0-0 ball game here in the top of the 10th. Some important things to note before Jackson Inman steps up to bat against Aiden Zur. There's a ghost runner on second, so an automatic runner starting on second. That'll be the case for both teams. If Auburn manages to take the lead at any point this game, it's a walk-off. However, if Batavia takes the lead, Auburn will have the chance to bounce back. And an important note about the PGCBL, rules state that the game only goes to 10 innings, so it's really more extra inning than extra innings. So as that pitch is fouled off for a foul ball, it's an 0-1 count. Another bunt attempt there, but pulls it back is Inman. 1-1 count to Jackson Inman, the batter in the 3-hole, who is 0 for 3 on the contest. Extra hitter has not been able to find his groove, now trying to bunt a batter over to third. There's another bunt attempt there from Inman. He pulled it back yet again, though, for a 2-1 count. 70 total pitches thrown by Zur. We saw the starting pitcher, Ryan Lundari, go for just 40, as that's another bunt attempt. This one just barely foul. 2-2 count. Somewhat surprising to see Ryan Lundari go so short and then Zur go so long. But Zur really proving why he was put in this game early and left in. Entered this game with a 9.24 ERA, excuse me. That's going to be a lot lower after his performance here. As that's a swing cracked over to the center fielder. Sam Meyer gets underneath it, throws it down to third. No tag up because of the powerful arm of Sam Meyer. With the speed on that throw, it definitely would have got there in time. Smart decision there from the Batavia base runner to not go. Now stepping up to the plate, it's Sean Mindas. 1 out on the board and a ghost runner on second. That one high. Again, this is the first extra innings contest we've seen here at Falcon Park this season. Fans at home certainly getting a fun one today, as we're not even 2.5 hours into this contest, just 2 hours and 20 minutes in. As we're in the 10th inning, that pitch inside, ball number 2. 2 balls, no strikes. A walk here, not the end of the world, as this scoring runner would still be on second. But with how well Zur has been pitching, obviously going to try to avoid that. As that pitch misses outside, 3-0 count.
Now Mindas ahead in the count. Ryan mentioned 3-0 Zer trying to work his way back. Runner stays at second. They're staying at second at the moment. Zer pitched. And Das is going to be outside for ball number 4. As we're going to see a meeting on the mound. Matt Petrosi now coming out to talk with Zer as there is an arm in the bullpen warming up. We'll see if this is the end for Zer, who has pitched phenomenally. 5 1/3. He has pitched. He's taking over. 4 1/3. He has pitched since coming into this ball game in the 5th inning in relief for Ryan Landari, who was also incredible. As it looks like Petrosi is going to stick with Zer. Petrosi talking also with first baseman Fishbein about the defense they want to do. The infielder staying on the mound, also communicating what they want to do defensively. If you want to look at, the half glass full from that walk to Mindas, hey, it now puts in play a potential ground ball double play, which would get the Doubledays out of this inning. So if you want to look at the half glass full approach of it, that is in play, but you also have runners on first and second here with 1 out as Cooper Fesh, the catcher, comes to the plate. 0 for 2 with a walk in this ball game, as they're going to go back to second with a pickoff attempt. That's Justin Espinal.
Espinal, a powerful batter, however, and that second base runner could come back to bite the Doubledays.
That one swung on and fouled straight back for strike number 1. So Zer ahead in the count now.
Has not found his groove tonight. 0 for 3 fouls that one off.
0-1 fouled also. Zer now ahead in the count. 0-2 here to Espinal. Trying to find a way to get a put-out pitch. Be huge in this at-bat. Zer ready's on the mound, delivers an 0-2. That was going to be low. Good job by DeCesare keeping that one in front of him. Sure, no runners are able to advance.
Strikeout would go a long way for Aiden Zer here.
1-2 from Zer is going to be hit on the ground. Over to Vivacqua. He stops it. Going to go to first as that one pulls Fishbein off the bag. He's able to return and get up in time to keep the runner from coming home, the ghost runner who advanced to third, but is not able to get the second out as the throw from Vivacqua pulls Fishbein off the bag. All runners are safe and the bases are now loaded.
Error there for Tyler Vivacqua, just something that you can't afford to have. Vivacqua, an amazing second baseman, but you just need to make that play a bit more smoothly. Make it easy for Max Fishbein over there first.
As we're going to see a pinch runner in at first base, number 3, come on for the Muckdogs.
Yeah, number 3, Travis Hammond on the campaign. Has 6 stolen bases, but he's speedier than his numbers may suggest.
Little pinch run, excuse me, for Espinal. As up at the plate now, Cooper Fesh, catcher, as that pitch will be in there for strike number 1. So there's a force out at every base. Runners are playing in for the Doubledays on the infield, while the middle infielders are playing in double play depth. Remember, a ground ball could be 2 and away out of this inning as that one's ripped out there into right field. That's going to be Hardy back at the track, making the catch, but tagging from third base is Castrotaro as he will score the first run of this ball game. And advancing to third is the runner from second for the Muckdogs as they take a 1-0 lead here as the air from the Doubledays cost them right there. Good job by Hardy tracking that one down and only allowing 1 run to score, as there's going to be no chance for a throw at home with how deep that one was hit. As the first pitch to James Bolton will be outside for ball number 1.
And the Doubledays now going to have a lot of pressure when they step up to bat, but however, it's still the pressure on Zerfer right now to get out of this inning without giving up any more.
Pitch outside, 2-0 is now the count. Absolutely for Zer. You got to think, hey, I need to find a way to get out of this inning with it only being 1-0. Obviously, the Doubledays will start with a runner on second in the inning. Pitch is going to be on the outside part of the plate for a strike. Bolton. The Doubledays need 1 more out. As runner taking off for second, as that's going to be swung on and missed there from Bolton for strike number 2, but stealing second is Hammond. Runners on second and third here with 2 outs in a 2-2 count and a 1-0 ball game. Zer trying to send it to the bottom of the 10th. His pitch is going to be swung on and missed for strike 3 as the Doubledays will come to bat, only trailing by 1. We saw the first run of the game. Doubledays need to score 1 to at least tie and score 2 to walk it off. Make sure you stick with us. This is going to be a fantastic finish here at Falcon Park. We'll be right back after this. Well, the script is set for the Doubledays. After going 9 innings of scoreless baseball, they need 1 to tie and 2 to win here in the bottom of the 10th as they are down to their last 3 outs as Adam Sullivan, the shortstop, comes up to the plate. It's going to be Brendan Smith over there at second base. First base playing in, expecting a bunt. As Sullivan's showing the bunt, that's going to be foul for strike number 1. New pitcher Garrett Beaver on the mound for the Muckdogs. Beaver, 1 save this season, is the closer for Batavia.
Yeah, he's 1.69 ERA for a reason. That 2-0 record is impressive. 14 strikeouts. Knows how to fan batters.
Showing bunt is Sullivan. It looked like the entire infield crashed, but the first baseman was about, I'd say, 6 feet away, and the third baseman was following on his side of the field right after him. Count now 1-1. We'll see if Sullivan shows bunt here for the third consecutive pitch. He does. That pitch is going to be bunted right in front of the catcher. A beauty. Throw to first is going to be in time, but that advances the runner, Brendan Smith, over to third base. So that is a perfectly executed sac bunt from the shortstop, Sullivan. So now the Doubledays tying run is 90 feet away as Sam Meyer comes to the plate. Doubledays 3 ties so far this season, not looking for their 4th. Infield in, trying to nab a ground ball, and the runner coming home. First pitch is going to be in there for strike number 1 to Meyer.
Meyer hasn't had a great game so far today. This is his chance. Can he deliver when needed most, when he is called upon? All the pressure is on him.
Beaver delivers an 0-1. That one's going to be swung on and missed. Good pitch. Has Meyer in front of it, so that'll be 0-2 quickly here from Meyer. So he's going to regroup himself if he steps out of the batter's box. Now back in. Beaver working from the right side of the rubber. Found the sign he liked. Now delivers. That one's going to be hit on the ground over to third. The throw home is going to be in time for out number 2 and nabbing the Doubledays from tying a scoring run. Another defensive gem from Batavia here tonight. Second time the infield has nabbed the lead runner from third from scoring. This time the biggest is now runner is on first with 2 outs here for the Doubledays. Max Fishbein and the Doubledays down to their last hope. First pitch is going to be low for ball 1.
Now the Doubledays have to do what they haven't done since basically the 4th inning, and that's hit the ball. They have to show up at the plate here.
Yeah, that ball on a rope to Carreras. He immediately went home. Good throw, nabbed Smith, but Doubledays can't think about that. 1-0 pitch is in there for strike number 1, evening the count at 1-1. Sam Meyer leads off at first. Max Fishbein at the plate. Ball hit into left center field. That's going to bring Meyer around third. He's being waved home. It's hit the cutoff man. Now the throw to the plate is not going to be in time. Gets past the catcher as Fishbein is going to stop at second as the tying run for the Doubledays has scored. And now the go-ahead run is standing at second base here in the bottom of the 10th as Falcon Park has come alive.
What a crazy twist of events we saw right there. Meyer hesitated at second base, and it was an interesting hesitation, to be completely honest. But then it goes, commits at third. Looked like he was going to get thrown out with ease, but the throw just a little bit too short and just short enough for Fesh to lose it.
Doubledays tie it. Still looking for one more to win it as Caden Albright comes to the plate. First pitch is going to be in there for strike number 1. That's Max Fishbein playing hero so far, tying this game. He's standing on second. Caden Albright at the plate. Got to think a ball to the outfield no matter what. As that one is fouled for strike number 2. As I was saying, imagine any ball to the outfield, Fishbein is being waved around. What a night here at Falcon Park. Doubledays down to their last strike here. Kid Albright trying to be the hero in a tie ball game. Pitch is going to be outside. Good stop from the catcher Fesh to keep that one from hitting the backstop and advancing Fishbein over to third. Albright steps out for a second, now back in the box. Count is 1-2. He's trying to put anything in play to give Fishbein a chance to score. Albright at the plate. The pitch is going to be outside again. Good job by Fish keeping that in front of him and in the glove. Second baseman Walker playing close to the bag, but Fishbein advancing the lead, getting a good secondary as the pitch is going to be swung on and missed from Caden Albright for strike number 3 and out number 3. As that will be how the night ends. A 1-1 tie, Auburn's 4th tie of the season. What a game this has been, as we have a time of 9:05 and a score of 1-1. Doubledays and the Muckdogs play to a 1-1 tie. You know, I'm speaking for myself, but I feel like I also could be speaking for not only you, Ryan, but this entire stadium. I wish we played the 11th inning right now.
I definitely agree with you there. It was an absolutely electric game throughout, and then finally the scoring started to pick up there in that final inning. And right when it looked like the Auburn Doubledays were out of it, they did what they've been doing all season and just pulled the rabbit out of the hat. Finally got Sam Meyer around to score. Great job from Max Fishbein, who had been 0 for 3 heading into his last at bat, to go up there and deliver an absolute killer double into left center field. The Doubledays really showed up when it mattered, and Luke, I completely agree with you. It would have been an honor to see more of this ball game, but you have to commend both teams with their solid performances this game.
Yeah, it feels like Falcon Crowd was just getting alive with all the offense going on, even in the top half and the bottom half of the 10th inning. Ryan, obviously a tie is not what you want, but this is a Batavia team that is leading in the standings. So while it's not a win against them, it's also not a loss against them. For the Doubledays, what's something good they can take away from this performance tonight, and something bad or something they would like to correct when they come back to the field tomorrow?
I think you can easily look at the early hitting as a solid sign for success. You out-hit Batavia, and I think this is also, it kind of goes in tandem with the pitching. Both, you managed to out-hit Batavia while only getting 5 hits. You held them to 4, which is a testament to both Ryan Lundari and Aiden Zur, but you also have to credit the team with how well they hit early on, and then even for Max Fishbein to come around at the very end and get that key hit. That's definitely commendable for the lineup. What they can look to improve upon, the errors. And we saw a near flawless game from Batavia. I would actually say a perfectly flawless game from Batavia out in the field. And that error from Tyler Vivacqua, who's been amazing, don't get me wrong, at second base all season, but that's a very costly error at the wrong time. That's why this was a tie ball game, because Batavia outfielded against Auburn.
I think another thing you can take some pride in for the Doubledays is the pitching.
Yes.
Between both the starter, Ryan Lundari, and Aiden Zur, the reliever. Lundari went 4 innings. Zur actually went 6 innings pitching from the 5th through the 10th. Both were incredible. Lundari gave up 0 runs. Zur gave up 1 run, albeit that run unearned. So you have to pat those two on the back. A phenomenal night on the mound. Fortunately, did not go the Doubledays' way in the end, but they come out of here with a tie. The 4th of the season, their first here at home. As we look at the next 3 games for the Doubledays, hey, they're playing 2 right here at Falcon Park tomorrow and on Thursday. They'll be right back here at Falcon Park playing the Outlaws and Niagara these next 2 games. It's going to be a good time. I want to see what the Doubledays are made of and how they respond to. This was, I can only assume, an emotional game. You know, you're playing a lockjaw 0-0 game for 9 innings. That 10th inning, all the emotions, the down of the bottom of the, the top of the 10th, then the highs at the top of the 10th, then the end of the 10th inning, and you have a tie. So I want to see how this team responds. If anything we've learned so far through this season, they respond, and they respond fast. So I'm excited to see tomorrow's ball game. Ryan, anything you want to say before we wrap up on what was, I would say, is probably the quickest game of the season? If we only went 9 innings, by far the quickest game. I'd say maybe even in the PGCBL this season.
Yeah, it was short and definitely sweet. Auburn played a fantastic game against the best team, at least record-wise, on the western side of the PGCBL. 2 fun games coming up over the next 2 days. Make sure to either tune in or come into Falcon Park.
100% for Ryan Story. I'm Luke Backman. Thank you for tuning in here on the Auburn Doubledays YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe so you know exactly when the Doubledays are live here at Falcon Park. And if you're in the area, make sure you come out. It's going to be phenomenal. The next 2 days, and both Saturday and Sunday as well at the park are going to be incredible. For Ryan Story, I'm Luke Backman. That's all we have tonight. Make sure you have a great night. We'll be back here, same time, for Auburn Doubledays baseball tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody.